Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network Novel. Rebirth of Xiangjiang. Starting to earn billions, legendary family Feng crossed the Xiangjiang River in 1978 and became the eldest son of the fallen Yi family. Inherited the almost bankrupt Yi Group company and bound the strongest family system, the system initially provided $1 million in family development funds. Let's see how Feng can use this $1 million and memories from his past life to develop and grow the Yi Group. Let the Yi family cross the fields of finance, military industry, mercenaries, media, real estate, internet, energy, and so on, and gradually build the Yi family from a down-and-out small family to a Feilu family. Let the light of the Yi family shine on the world. This novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Rebirth of Xiangjiang, System Activation, First. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In 1978. In Villa 26 Repulse Bay. In the bedroom on the second floor, there was a 24-year-old young man with disheveled hair and dirty face. The room was in a mess, and the floor was filled with wine bottles. The young man slowly opened his eyes and said, "Where is this?" Suddenly, the young man shook his head and looked very painful. About 30 seconds later, the young man lifted his head and looked at the messy room in confusion. Is this really a time travel for me? The young man's name is Feng, and he is from the earth. He works as a stock analyst in a financial securities company. Last night, I went to a dinner party with my colleagues and drank unconsciously. After waking up today, I traveled to the Blue Star, which is a world similar to the Earth in my previous life. The original owner of this body is called Feng, and his name is Feng. It must be said that this is fate. Since I've traveled, I'll call myself Feng in the future. Feng muttered softly. This body is still a wealthy second generation, but it won't be right away because the Yi Group is about to go bankrupt. Feng was so annoyed by the company's affairs that he drank a little alcohol. Unexpectedly, after drinking too much, he got a discount. There is also a younger brother named Xiu, who is 21 years old this year. I am studying at Xiangjiang Chinese University. And his parents passed away in a car accident last month. The cause of the accident was a truck driver who drank alcohol and turned the steering wheel hard when turning right. The vehicle overturned and pressed directly onto the car of Feng's parents, causing their death on the spot. The truck driver narrowly escaped death, but was also seriously injured. Yi Group lost its backbone, was urged by banks to pay debts, suppliers to collect payments, and the company's funding chain was broken. Although the company has not yet gone bankrupt with the strong support of Feng's second and third uncles, if the bank loan cannot be repaid this time, the company will be used to offset its debts. The Yi Group is a family-owned enterprise, and the senior management of the company is all members of the Yi family. Thinking of this, Feng felt a headache. This wealthy second generation has not yet become one, and is about to go bankrupt. I'm afraid this is a negative second generation, right? However, Feng didn't have much concern either. In his previous life, he specialized in researching stocks. It's now 78 years, although I don't remember it in detail, he still remembers some major events in the stock market in 1978. For example, Baochuan Wang acquires Zhulongkang. How can I remember so clearly? I remember even the incident of stealing apricots in the fields when I was a child very clearly. Especially in the financial sector, he remembers very well the historical trends of domestic and foreign stock markets and international futures markets that he later studied after going to work. Maybe it's because this is his food bowl. As for why he remembers so clearly, if he can't figure it out, he won't think about it. Blame it on the possibility that two souls merged and became stronger. In that case, the company cannot go bankrupt, with such a powerful golden finger added to it. If he can still make the Yi Group go bankrupt, then he will lose face with those senior travelers. Just as he was about to get up and tidy up his messy face, a sudden noise made him overjoyed. Ding! The strongest family system has found a suitable host, should we bind it? Yi Feng is too familiar with this routine. Isn't this the system from the novels he read in his past life? Bind quickly. Yi Fenglian hurriedly said. Ding! The strongest family system has been successfully bound. Ding! First time binding the system, reward $1 million in family development funds. Note: family development funds should be used to develop and strengthen the family. They have been transferred to the host's HSBC account. What is the role of you and me in the system? Yi Feng asked. Ding! The strongest family system, dedicated to helping hosts build the strongest family. Ding! Tasks will be released irregularly, and the host will receive rewards for completing them. System panel waiting to open. Yi Feng understands that this is to make himself and his entire family strong together. It's not enough to be strong alone. However, recalling this period of time, the group faced a crisis, with second and third uncles, aunts, and even cousins. Not only did he not neglect him, but he also spared no effort to help the company. Uncle Heir even sold his villa. The whole family moved into a house of only 90 square meters. Others are also wealthy and powerful contributors. There is no competition for power or profit among other wealthy families. This made Yi Feng very pleased. This is the family, this is the family. Yi Feng swore that he would lead the entire Yi family to the pinnacle of the world. Yi Feng opened the system panel again. Host. Yi Feng, 3-dimensional attributes. Strength. 8, Spirit. 12, Speed. 7, Normal adult men are 10, Family. Yi family, family title. Small family, family halo. Loyalty to the family, influence. 1150 points/10,000 points, clan members. 20 people, can check loyalty to the family, over 90 can sacrifice their lives for the family, never betray the clan. Industry. Yi Group. Yi Real Estate Company, assets. $1 million, 3 million Hong Kong dollars, system space. 1,000 cubic meters, to be upgraded. System upgrade requires family assets to reach $100 million, 10,000 influence points, and new functions to be launched after system upgrade. The spiritual power is actually 12 points. I didn't expect the soul after the fusion of two souls to be so powerful. After reading the system panel, Yi Feng got up to tidy up himself, changed into a new set of clothes, and took a shower. After coming out and looking in the mirror, he immediately changed his appearance, which seemed like a 24-year-old young man. Yi Feng nodded in satisfaction. Opening the bedroom door, Yi Feng shouted, "Uncle." "Oh, hello, you've finally come out. If you don't come out again, I'll have to call second master." A 60-year-old man, dressed in simple yet dignified attire, with a face full of vicissitudes but revealing wisdom, looked at Yi Feng with a kind gaze. The second master is talking about Chu Tian's second uncle, Yi Hanwen. Yi Hanwen has been very fond of Yi Feng since childhood, but he is also very strict with him. Yi Feng has been afraid of this second uncle since he was young. Yi Feng smiled awkwardly. "Fubo. I'm fine, it's just that the company's affairs have been a bit bothersome these past few days. I just had 2 drinks and you asked the servant to tidy up the room." "Good young master," Fubo agreed and went to arrange. "I went downstairs and saw that breakfast was ready. I just had some salty soybean milk and som yubing, which was specially arranged by the predecessor. Otherwise, wealthy families like them usually have Hong Kong-style morning tea." After taking a few simple bites, Yi Feng asked a servant, "Where did Xiao Xiu go?" "Young master, the second young master has already gone to school, the servant replied respectfully. Since the death of his parents, the company has been suppressed and declined. After that, Yi Feng has been begging his grandparents everywhere to borrow money to save the company. Yi Xiu is desperately studying financial knowledge, hoping that the knowledge he has learned can help the company. But now that Yi Feng has arrived, with his past life memories and golden fingers, it's not easy to make money. Take a walk around the stock market, it's all money, just wait for you to pick it up and go home. With money, the company can not only revive itself, but also grow and grow. I called the driver and asked him to bring the car over. Yi Feng is ready to go to the company. Yi Feng's car is a Rolls-Royce business, which he bought after taking over the company. The chairman of Yi Group's vehicle must be able to match the 4 words of Yi Group. Although Yi Group currently only has one real estate company left and does not have the money to develop the land. But in the past, Yi Group was a large conglomerate worth 50 million Hong Kong dollars. You should know that in 1978, a large conglomerate with 50 million Hong Kong dollars in Xiangjiang could be ranked in the top 30 of Hong Kong stocks. P.S. Newcomers and new books, seeking support, collecting, Flower monthly pass evaluation tickets, first day book release, small ones strive to provide readers with 5 chapters of explosive updates. Chapter 2. Making money from stock trading at HSBC, second update. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Xiangjiang Jiulong Office Building is one of the most luxurious office buildings in Xiangjiang. Located to the west of the Kowloon Peninsula in Xiangjiang, second only to Xiangjiang Central. On the top floor of the West Kowloon office building, Yi Group occupies only 3 floors. After getting off the car, Yi Feng walked into the building and arrived at the company. Upon entering, a front desk saw Chu Tian walking in and quickly asked, "Good morning, Chairman." After speaking, he bowed. Yi Feng nodded and walked into his office, where he saw a woman wearing black silk high heels and professional attire organizing documents. This is Yi Feng's cousin, who is also the daughter of his sister-in-law Yi Suqing. He is a top student who has continuously jumped levels. He graduated from Xiangjiang University with a major in financial management at the age of 20. After graduation, I joined the Yi Group to work as a secretary for Yi Feng's father. This year is already the 2nd year. "Brother, are you here?" Seeing Yi Feng come in, Yi Meng smiled and greeted him. "Well, Xiaomeng, go call my aunt and second uncle to my office." Yi Feng responded and ordered. "Okay, brother, I'll go right away," Yi Meng agreed and walked out. Yi Feng's sister-in-law Yi Suqing is the head of the finance department of the group, responsible for managing the accounts of all companies under the group. But now there's only one real estate company left. As for Uncle Yi Hanwen, he is the general manager of a real estate company. The fact that the real estate company has not yet gone bankrupt is that Uncle Ye's funds raised from selling villas are supporting it. After a while, the office door rang. "Please come in," Yi Feng said. The office was pushed open, and Yi Feng's second uncle and sister-in-law walked in. "Xiao Feng, are you looking for us?" The two of them walked in and sat in front of Yi Feng, asking, "Uncle and auntie, may I ask how much our company still needs from the bank loan?" Yi Su whispered, "Xiao Feng, we still have a loan of 5 million from Standard Chartered Bank, but our company account only has 3 million left." Yi Feng took out a HSBC bank card and said, "Auntie, there is $1 million in here. You can swipe out $500,000 to repay the loan from Standard Chartered Bank first. Auntie, after paying off, let's completely blacklist Standard Chartered Bank and cut off all dealings with it," Yi Feng added. Yi Suqing looked at the bank card in his hand, somewhat stunned. These days, they have been raising money everywhere, and no bank is willing to lend to a company that is on the verge of bankruptcy. "Xiao Feng, where did you get this money from?" Yi Su asked in surprise. "Auntie, don't worry about it. You can first repay the loan with 500,000 yuan, and I will still use the rest. I will continue to inject capital into the bank in a while, said Yi Feng. Yi Suqing didn't ask when Yi Feng said so. After finishing speaking, Yi Feng looked at Yi Hanwen again. Second uncle, how is the development of our land in the imperial garden? Yi Feng asked. Alas, we're going to stop work again soon. The construction party is already urging the payment for the second phase of the project, Yi Hanwen said with a worried expression. And the Chen Group is here again. They want to take our land for 10 million yuan. You should know that when they bought the land for Yuqian Garden, they were all 15 million yuan. Speaking of the Chen Group, Yi Hanwen showed a look of hatred. Since the death of Yi Feng's parents, the company has been in crisis, and the Chen Group has pounced like a vicious dog. Originally, the Yi Group was not so fragile, but Chen Group and Standard Chartered Bank, citing the fact that the Yi Group was in crisis and had a huge risk of bankruptcy, urged the debt collection of the Yi Group in advance, resulting in the company's funding chain breaking. All other companies under the Yi Group have been used to offset their debts, except for the real estate company, which has a combined market value of 30 million yuan. After being forcibly collected by Standard Chartered Bank, only 20 million yuan of debt was repaid, so the company was undervalued. The Chen Group has once again bribed the court, while the Yi Group has not won the lawsuit. Later, Standard Chartered Bank packaged the companies of Yi Group and sold them to Chen Group. After learning about this, Yi Feng's third uncle Yi Jiaheng was so angry that he vomited blood and was hospitalized. He is still recovering at home. Yi Feng also hated the Chen Group to the bone. He gritted his teeth and said to Yi Hanwen, second uncle, let's temporarily suspend the project. Wait for me for half a month, I will find a way to inject capital into the company. As for the Chen Group, even if our land is abandoned, we will not sell it to them, Yi Feng said fiercely. Yi Hanwen has no choice now. His house has been sold, what else can he do? So I can only trust Yi Feng. In the morning, Yi Feng finished handling the company's affairs and arrived at HSBC Bank in the afternoon. When he saw Yi Feng sitting in a Rolls-Royce, the lobby manager immediately welcomed him. Hello sir, may I ask what business you need to handle? The lobby manager is a beautiful woman in her 20s and 60s. Yi Feng walked in and said, open a stock trading account for me. I want to trade stocks. As he spoke, he took out his bank card and said, here is 500,000 US dollars. Please help me convert all of it into Hong Kong dollars and transfer it to my stock account. Yi Feng has no unnecessary nonsense, for him wasting time is like wasting money. The beautiful manager smiled sweetly and said, okay, sir, you can go to our VIP room first. I will arrange it for you and bring it over immediately. Yi Feng nodded and went to the VIP room on the second floor to wait. After a while, the beautiful manager walked in and said, sir, your account has been processed. You have 3.8 million US dollars to exchange for Hong Kong dollars. My name is Li Shiner, and I will serve you next. Li Shiner smiled and said to Yi Feng. Okay, Manager Li, let's go to the stock hall then. Upon arriving at the lobby, Yi Feng began to search for information about his past life stocks. After a while, he said to Li Shiner, Manager Li, help me buy 1 million Hong Kong dollars worth of shares in Suiwei shares. Haiqing Pharmaceutical and Jinghong Technology also each buy 1 million Hong Kong dollars worth of shares, and Jixiang shares should buy 800,000 Hong Kong dollars each. Quickly, in less than 3 minutes, Yi Feng's 3.8 million Hong Kong dollars were spent. Li Shiner looked a bit dumbfounded. Isn't that how money is spent? Mr. Yi, Jinghong Technology has been declining recently, and the other 3 stocks are also lukewarm. Do you want to stop considering it? Li Shiner still advised. Yi Feng gave a mysterious smile and said, I dreamt last night that these 4 stocks were going to soar. Today, let's take a chance. Li Shiner smiled awkwardly and stopped persuading. After a while, Jinghong Technology, which had been continuously declining, suddenly began to rise, rising from 4.9 yuan to 5.4 yuan and still continuing to rise. Li Shiner couldn't help but say, "Mr. Yi, you have a very accurate view." Yi Feng smiled and remained silent. By around 3 p.m., both Xingjiang shares and Suiwei shares had started to skyrocket, with Xingjiang shares rising from 14.5 yuan to 17 yuan. Suiwei shares rose from 10.8 yuan to 15 yuan, a sudden increase of 4.2 yuan, with Suiwei shares experiencing the strongest growth. Currently, only Haicheng Pharmaceutical is still hovering around a few tenths of a yuan, neither falling nor rising. However, there was no rush either. In his memory, Haicheng Pharmaceutical only started to rise tomorrow. Until 4:10 p.m., the Hong Kong stock market began to close. Jinghong Technology had risen to 8 Hong Kong dollars and 80 cents, Suiwei shares had risen to 20 Hong Kong dollars and 60 cents, and Xingjiang shares had risen to 19 Hong Kong dollars and 40 cents. Today closed successfully, and Yi Feng earned over 2 million Hong Kong dollars in one day with 3.8 million Hong Kong dollars. Li Xian looked at Yi Feng with a worshipful gaze, as if looking at a god. In half a day, the original capital increased by 70%. Isn't this a god? Yi Feng stood up and prepared to leave, saying to Li Shiner, "I'll come over tomorrow afternoon." Li Shiner respectfully sent Yi Feng out and watched as he sat on a Rolls-Royce and headed away. P.S. Newcomers and new books, seeking support, collecting, Flower monthly pass evaluation tickets, first day book release, small ones strive to provide readers with 5 chapters of explosive updates. Chapter 3. Stocks soaring and entering the crude oil futures market. You are listening at novelfull.audio. P.S. Please don't be stingy with details. They are all written for the sake of the plot, which is definitely different from the actual situation. I'm here to express my gratitude to everyone. The next day, Yi Feng still came to the company to handle the matter and was reviewing the documents. Suddenly, there was a commotion outside, and the office door was pushed open. A young man in gorgeous attire walked in with 2 bodyguards, looking at Yi Feng with a proud expression. This man is Chen Jie, the eldest son of the Chen family group. What are you doing here? Yi Feng frowned and looked at Chen Jie. I saw Chen Jie take out a contract and throw it on Yi Feng's desk. Hurry up and sign it. The broken company is almost bankrupt, why do you keep the land? Chen Jie said disdainfully. Yi Feng picked up the contract and looked at it. It was the transfer contract for the land of Yuqian Garden, and the price was indeed 8 million yuan. Yi Feng's face turned black. Security, security, what are you eating for? Shoot him out for me, Yi Feng shouted. Chen Jie snorted coldly. Yi Feng, don't be shameless. This time it's 8 million, but next time it won't even be 8 million. Give you 2 days, don't think about raising the price or selling to others, be careful not to take live flowers, Chen Jie threatened. Without waiting for the security guard to rush, he left with his bodyguard. Yi Feng picked up the contract with an unpleasant expression and tore it up, throwing it into the trash can. Chen family, he has completely remembered. When he has the strength, the first thing he will do is to take the Chen family's sacrificial flag. Continuing to the HSBC stock exchange in the afternoon, Li Shiner quickly welcomed Yi Feng in. Mr. Yi, you're really amazing. Haicheng Pharmaceutical, which you bought yesterday, announced this morning that it has developed a new cardiovascular medicine, and its stock has gone crazy today. Yi Feng smiled nonchalantly, as he had anticipated. How about the other 3 stocks? Yi Feng asked. Jinghong Technology has already risen to 12 Hong Kong dollars, and Suiwei shares have also risen rapidly, both at 24 Hong Kong dollars. Although Xingjiang shares have not risen as fast as these 2 stocks, they have also risen by 3 Hong Kong dollars. Li Shiner said excitedly to Yi Feng, as if it were her, as if her stock had surged. Yi Feng, on the other hand, was relatively calm because it was similar to what he had expected. He instructed Li Shiner, sell all of Jinghong Technology and Suiwei shares before the closing today. Sell Haicheng Pharmaceutical and Jixiang shares before the closing tomorrow noon. Li Shiner was a bit puzzled upon hearing this, but she didn't ask much. She now has a blind trust in Yifeng. After taking a look, there was no major problem, and Yifeng didn't mind. He was about to go home when the system started ringing. Ding, the system has released a task. The host is requested to use existing funds to earn more money within 10 days and settle it after 10 days. The more funds the host earns, the richer the reward will be. Ding. Please earn a minimum of $10 million for the host, otherwise it will be calculated as a failed task. Upon hearing this, Yifeng asked, is there any punishment for system task failure? Ding. Mission failure reduces family influence by 100 points. After hearing this punishment, Yifeng didn't pay much attention. It seems that he will have to play a big game tomorrow, otherwise the system task won't be completed by then. The next afternoon, Yifeng continued to come to the HSBC stock trading hall, and Li Shiner walked over. Mr. Yi, as per your instructions, all your stocks have been sold and all the funds have been deposited into your account, totaling 9.2 million Hong Kong dollars. You are the most skilled in stocks I have ever seen, said Li Shiner in admiration of Yifeng. Yifeng smiled and asked Li Shiner, today I'm going to enter the futures market. How much leverage can HSBC give me? Upon hearing this, Li Shiner thought for a moment and said, Mr. Yi, how much capital are you planning to use as leverage? Just use 9 million Hong Kong dollars and exchange them all for US dollars, Chu said. Mr. Yi, your funds have exceeded 5 million Hong Kong dollars. I can only give you 5 times the leverage. If there is more, I will have to report to the chairman, said Li Shiner. After thinking for a moment, Yifeng agreed that it would be enough for the time being. Then, let's allocate funds for me. Today, I want to enter the futures market. About an hour later, Li Shiner walked in with a contract and said to Yifeng, Mr. Yi, the funds are ready. Could you please sign this voluntary leveraged capital allocation contract? As soon as Yifeng saw that there were no major issues, he signed it. Let's go to the futures trading and investment room, and follow Li Xin to the futures trading area. There are already 2 traders waiting. Mr. Yi, your funds have been transferred to your futures account, totaling 5.9 million US dollars. Li Shiner showed Yifeng the futures account. Yifeng nodded to Li Shiner and said, from now on, except for delivering food to us, don't come into this room. Turning his head to look at the 2 operators again, he asked, from now on, you can't leave this room. Can you do that? I'll double the commission for you. This is actually a hidden rule in large-scale futures trading, which is to be afraid of someone leaking information. The 2 traders heard that the commission had doubled and immediately agreed, handing over their big brother to Yifeng. Then he said to Li Shiner, I'll trouble you for the next few days. Please treat you to dinner after I finish my work. Li Shiner laughed at the words and said, okay, then I'll wait for Mr. Yi to treat me to dinner. After saying that, I'll leave. Yifeng also called his family and told Fubo that there was something going on these days, and if he couldn't come. I told Uncle Air again that I won't go to the company for the next few days and let Uncle Air watch and handle company affairs. At 9 p.m., crude oil futures began trading, and Yifeng instructed, let's start entering the crude oil futures market now and buy all 5.9 million US dollars in crude oil futures. The 2 traders dared not slack off and quickly began to operate. The current crude oil price is $14.60 per barrel, which is $14,600 per barrel. After an hour, I spent all $5.9 million and bought a total of 404 hands. Next, we'll have to wait for 2 days before that happens. Crude oil futures will skyrocket, and he'll be able to make big money. As long as there is a steady transition in these 2 days, by 11 o'clock, not only did crude oil not rise, but it even fell by $1. Yifeng didn't care and let the 2 traders rest. The next day, crude oil fell another $1, and the two traders who watched were both anxious, but Yi Feng didn't take it seriously. But not long after the opening on the third day, crude oil began to skyrocket and soon rose to its original price. Then it continued to rise, at $15.40, $16.20, and $18, rising by $3.40 in 2 hours, causing panic among the two traders. Yi Feng knew that something had happened. Today, the Beihai oil field exploded, actually in 1977, spewing 7.5 million gallons of crude oil, which was not controlled until 8 days later. Today it rose by $3.40, that's the beginning, and tomorrow it's the Big Bang. Sure enough, on the fourth day, the crude oil rose by $2 as soon as it opened, which was the beginning. The crude oil was still rising crazily, $21.60, $23, $25.40, and $27. At 2 a.m., it finally closed at a price of $28 per barrel. At this moment, the two of them looked at Yi Feng with the same eyes as Li Xiner did when she first looked at him, which can be said to be a tribute to Yi Feng. Yi Feng knew that the price of crude oil would continue to rise in the coming days, but it wasn't as crazy as it is today. It wasn't until several European countries announced that the explosion was under control that the price of crude oil stabilized. This is the 9th largest oil field in the world, jointly owned by countries such as Great Britain, Helan, and Norway. It can be imagined how much sensation this oil field explosion caused. P.S. Newcomers and new books, seeking support, collecting, Flower monthly pass evaluation tickets, first day book release, small ones strive to provide readers with 5 chapters of explosive updates. Chapter 4. Selling crude oil to make a big profit, completing the series. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Starting from the 5th day, the price increase of crude oil slowed down and continued until the early morning closing, rising by $7. And now it's already $35.20 per barrel, and Yi Feng has already made a fortune. On the 6th day, at $36.60, $38, $41.20, $42, the price of crude oil is now $42 per barrel, and Yi Feng has already earned 2.8 times. In the next 2 days, Yi Feng watched as crude oil continued to rise, and even if it rose by a penny, he would make a big profit. Thinking of this, his heart immediately felt happy. On the 9th day, the governments of the 3 European countries will announce that the North Sea crude oil fire has been extinguished, and the price of crude oil will also stabilize. So Yi Feng asked 2 traders to sell the crude oil on the 8th day when it was about to close. Now that the crude oil is rising sharply, it is easy to sell it, and there are too many people taking the market. Finally, the transaction was made at a price of $56. At first glance, Yi Feng's final futures account funds were $22.42 million. 2 traders almost knelt down for Yi Feng, which is a 3.8-fold increase in 9 days. Yi Feng quickly instructed the 2 to settle the accounts and withdraw the funds from the futures market. The money he received was the money. Half an hour later, the 2 completed the task. Alright, the task has come to a successful end. You 2 should rest well. Tomorrow, in addition to doubling your commission, I will reward you with 100,000 yuan each, Yi Feng said to the 2 traders. Upon hearing that they had money to take, the 2 of them happily bowed and thanked Yi Feng, who waved his hand. I found a room to rest on my own. The next day, after waking up, I called Li Xiner and asked the settlement to borrow leverage funds and commissions from HSBC Bank. Li Xiner looked at the money in her account dumbfounded. In just 9 days, it has become over 20 million. Looking at Li Xiner, who was stunned, Yi Feng said angrily, quickly settle the account, what are you waiting for? Oh, big shot, please wait a moment, I'll settle the payment for you right away, Li Xiner's address to Yi Feng changed. The settlement was quickly settled, and after deducting HSBC's leveraged funds and commissions, Yi Feng still had $16.5 million left. Yi Feng asked Li Xiner to exchange all of them for Hong Kong dollars, but he currently cannot use US dollars. Hong Kong dollars will be of great use to him in the future. Looking at the 125.4 million Hong Kong dollars in his bank card, Yi Feng nodded in satisfaction. Then the call system started the settlement task and settled it one day in advance. Anyway, if we don't take short-term stocks in the past 2 days, we won't make much money. Ding. In the system settlement, the host earned a total of 16.5 million US dollars, task evaluation B. Yi Feng cursed loudly in his mind, dog system, are you blind? I've multiplied it more than 10 times, so you gave me a B rating. Ding. The system is not wrong. You will become the strongest family leader in the future. If you don't work hard to make money, how can you lead the family to become stronger? Okay, Yi Feng has also taken it, this reason is so powerful. So the reward? Yi Feng asked. Ding. Reward distribution is underway. 1. Reward host $10 million, note. Can only be used for family development. 2. Reward host attribute points of 5. 3. Reward host guards with 2 handguns and 1 sniper rifle each. Note. As the most powerful family leader, how can you no longer have your own strength in your hands? Reward settlement completed. Yi Feng's eyes turned red as he looked at the reward. How rich it would be if it were an A.level reward or an S.level reward. Li Xiner watched as Yi Feng remained motionless for a long time, thinking that Yi Feng was too excited to see how much money he had earned. She went over and shook Yi Feng, and Yi Feng finally realized that it was still at HSBC Bank. Yi Feng smiled awkwardly and said to Li Xiner, help me take out 500,000 yuan, give one of the 2 traders a reward of 100,000 yuan, and you can take 300,000 yuan yourself. That's your hard work. The 2 traders thanked Yi Feng again and went to get busy. Li Xiner didn't expect to have enough money to take it, so she bowed to Yi Feng. When bending down, it was inevitable that the 2 little white rabbits would run out of sight. After getting up, they looked at Yi Feng with his eyes fixed on their chest, blushing and pulling their clothes. They felt a little proud in their hearts, as they had good capital. Yi Feng coughed twice and awkwardly said to Li Xiner, transfer 50 million Hong Kong dollars to my stock account and help me acquire stocks in Kowloon Warehouse and Technology Whampoa. Remember, come quietly and don't let anyone else discover. By the way, I still have 10 million US dollars transferred to my account this afternoon, please help me exchange them all into Hong Kong dollars. Yi Feng reminded again. Li Xian nodded, indicating that she remembered everything. I promised you to treat you to dinner, and when everything is done in the next 2 days, I will make up for it for you. You can choose any restaurant in Xiangjiang, Yi Feng said again. Li Xiner happily agreed, but for some reason, her face turned red again. After arranging the tasks, Chu Tian called the driver to pick him up and sat on the sofa of HSBC Bank, studying the system rewards and opening the system panel. Host. Yi Feng, 3-dimensional attributes. Strength. 8, Spirit. 12, Speed. 7, Normal adult men are 10, Family. Yi family, family title. Small family, family halo. Loyalty to the family, influence. 1150 points/10,000 points, clan members. 20 people, can check loyalty to the family, over 90 can sacrifice their lives for the family, never betray the clan. Industry. Yi Group. Yi Real Estate Company, assets. 10 million US dollars, 74.9 million Hong Kong dollars, attribute point. 5 points, note. The host can be used by anyone, family guard. 2 people, soldier king level, optional male and female, 15 points each in 3D attributes, comes with 10 cubic meters of space, can be upgraded. To be extracted, system space. 1000 cubic meters, to be upgraded. System upgrade requires family assets to reach $100 million, 10,000 influence points, and new functions to be launched after system upgrade. Feng added 2 points to his 5 attributes in strength and 3 points to his speed. Suddenly, a warm current swept through his body, and now his 3-dimensional attributes have finally reached the normal level of an adult man. When Feng saw that attribute points could still be used by others, he asked the system, how can attribute points be used by others? Ding! The system will generate gene potions with 3 attribute points per bottle, and the 3D attributes will be advanced a bit. After understanding the situation clearly, he said to the system. Extract 2 male guards. Ding! Extraction successful, arrive in 1 minute. Sure enough, in less than a minute, 2 middle-aged men in suits and sunglasses walked over. Walking up to Feng, boss, the 2 of them greeted Feng. What are your 2 names? Feng asked. Boss, we both have no names. Please ask the boss to name us, he said, then you can call it Yi Air, said Feng. In the future, you 2 can drive for me and be responsible for my safety. Good boss, Yi and Yi Air replied in unison. In no time, the driver arrived. After getting on the car, Feng said to the driver, Xiao Lu, you don't have to drive for me anymore. Driver Xiao Lu was anxious and thought he had made some mistake, just about to plead. I saw Feng say, go to the company and become the leader of the driver's team. Upon hearing this, Xiao Lu was overjoyed and said, thank you, boss. Thank you, boss. Xiao Lu repeatedly thanked Feng. Upon arriving at the company, Feng arrived at the office and saw a thick stack of documents on his desk. He gave a bitter smile. Although Uncle Air helped him with some matters, there were still many documents that he needed to sign before they could take effect. Yi Meng saw Feng come back and exclaimed happily, brother, have you finally come back? With a look of grievance in her eyes, she finished speaking. Feng walked over and touched Yi Meng's little head, asking, what's wrong? Brother, you don't know. You're not here these past few days, and Chen comes to the company every day to harass us. Yi Meng said wrongly, there are also rumors that the material supplier heard from somewhere. They say our company is going bankrupt and they are blocking our company's doorstep all day asking for money. P.S. Newcomers and new books, seeking support, collecting, Flower monthly pass evaluation tickets, first day book release, small ones strive to provide readers with 5 chapters of explosive updates. Chapter 5. Investing in the company, resolving crisis, section. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I won't do it in the future. Brother made a lot of money this time, which is enough for us to develop our company in the future. Our Yi Group won't go bankrupt either, Feng comforted Yi Meng. As for Xingye, speaking of this, the cold light in Yi Feng's eyes flickered, it was time to deal with him. Comforting Yi Meng, Feng started processing the documents again. It wasn't until 4:30 p.m. that the processing was completed. Feng stretched lazily and then dialed the phone of his third uncle Yi Jiaheng's home. In no time, a young man answered the call. Hello, may I ask who you are? The young man asked. Upon hearing the young man's voice, Feng said, Brother Yuan, I'm Feng. How is Uncle San's health? This is Yi Jiaheng's eldest son, named Yi Yuan. After graduating from Xiangjiang Police School, he worked at the police station and was the deputy leader of the anti-gang team at the Kowloon branch. Feng, my father is already well. He just told me he will come to the company to help tomorrow, Yi Yuan said. That's good, the company may get busy in a few days, and I'm still thinking that I wouldn't be able to get busy without Uncle San, Feng said with a smile. If you have anything to do, Feng, should I call my father to answer the phone? Yi Yuan asked. Brother Yuan, please ask Uncle San to come to my villa this weekend and let's worship our ancestors. You and Xiaoji, come over too. Xiaoji's name is Yi Ji, and he is the youngest son of Yi Jiaheng. He is 19 years old this year. In the Department of Law at Xiangjiang University. Okay, Feng, I will tell my father, Yi Yuan said solemnly upon hearing the words. Well, then go ahead and get busy, Yi Feng said and hung up the phone. I called the secretariat again and called Yi Meng up. After Yi Meng came in, Yi Feng ordered, Xiao Meng, let's put aside what we have in hand first. Go and inform the family members who are over 18 years old and are in Xiangjiang that they will come to my house this Sunday to worship our ancestors, and then discuss the next steps of the family's development. Upon hearing this, Yi Meng knew that it was about to decide on family matters and dared not neglect it, so she decided to take action. As soon as Yi Meng walked to the door, Yi Feng added, Xiao Meng, call your uncle too. He is also part of our Yi family. Upon hearing these words, Yi Meng trembled all over and bowed to Yi Feng. Her father, Chu Xian, had invaded the Yi family and no one had discriminated against him in recent years. Their relationship was also very good, but the Yi family always excluded his father during ancestor worship, and she could see a disappointed expression in his eyes. After Yi Meng left, Yi Feng also began to think about the future development of the family. He took out a pen and paper and started writing until after 9 p.m. when the rest of the company finished work, leaving only himself. Taking the family plan he wrote, Yi Feng also went home. The next morning, I arrived at the company early and found that Yi Jiaheng was also here today. I greeted him and said, Uncle, you're doing well in your health. Often, I'm fine now. Your third aunt insisted that I lie down for a few more days. It's because I can't lie down anymore. Come to the company and see if I can be of any help. Ha ha ha, Yi Feng smiled and said, the crisis of Uncle San's company has been resolved, and we will get better and better in the future. Solved. Did a bank lend us a loan? Yi Jiaheng asked in confusion. Yi Feng smiled and said, let's go to my office first. We'll talk when Uncle and Auntie come. Ordered the front desk to call Uncle and Auntie over. After a while, Yi Hanwen and Yi Suqing also came to the office. After they sat down, Yi Feng said, second uncle, third uncle, Auntie, the company crisis has been resolved. We can confidently develop with confidence in the future. The three of them heard this and looked puzzled. Uncle Yi Jiaheng asked, which bank is willing to lend us a loan? Yi Feng immediately recounted the story of stock trading and futures trading during this period, and the three of them listened as if listening to a story. Uncle Air asked in shock, do you say you earned over 100 million in just over 10 days? Yi Feng nodded seriously, concealing the $10 million reward from the system, only stating that it was earned through futures and high leverage, so he earned more. After waiting for a while, all three of them calmed down. Yi Feng asked, second uncle, how much does it cost to complete the Imperial Garden? Yi Hanwen thought for a moment and said, we still need about 8 million Hong Kong dollars, after all, we have high-end residential properties. Yi Feng asked Yi Suqing again, Auntie, how much material fees does our company still owe our suppliers? About 2 million, all of which are cement and steel bars used on the Yutian Garden. We use good things, so it's a bit expensive, Yi Suqing said. After understanding it clearly, Yi Feng said to Yi Suqing, okay, Auntie, I will transfer 80 million yuan to the company later, and you can transfer 25 million yuan to Uncle Air, and then settle the payment. Those suppliers will be blacklisted, and their materials will no longer be used in the future. Turning to Yi Hanwen, he said, Uncle, besides continuing to complete the Imperial Garden, the more money you have left, the better to buy the land in Butterfly Bay. Yi Hanwen asked in confusion, Feng, isn't Butterfly Bay a fishing village? Why buy the land there? Yi Feng smiled mysteriously and said, Uncle Air, just go buy it. I have news that a port will be built over there. Take advantage of the current price and buy more. Yi Hanwen didn't ask much due to his trust in Yi Feng. Uncle San, if we don't have what we used to be, it will be gone. Let's develop again and it will definitely be better, Yi Feng comforted Yi Jiaheng. Yi Jiaheng sighed and said, I mainly watched as the company I had worked hard to establish was taken away like this, and I am not willing to accept it. Uncle, don't be disheartened. I'll give you a new task to buy a newspaper. We need to have our own channels to make a sound. How much money do you need? Please ask your aunt to approve it for you. Yi Jiaheng nodded and said, yes, let's start over and it will definitely be better. Yi Feng said to Yi Suqing again, Auntie, let my uncle stop lying at home and come out to work. Sooner or later, we will take down the Chen family. Chu Xian, also known as Yi Suqing's husband, was originally responsible for the supermarkets under the Yi Group, but was framed by the Chen family. Several supermarkets found expired products, which were sealed by the Food Safety Supervision Committee, and all products were confiscated. Chu Xian felt sorry for Yi Group's failure to fulfill management responsibilities and stayed at home all along. Yi Su let out a bitter smile. With his bad temper, who could persuade him? Then you can let him come to the company tomorrow, I'll tell him. If he doesn't come tomorrow, I'll say it in front of his ancestors during the ceremony. It's his first time seeing our ancestors, how embarrassed he is. Yi Su nodded lightly and said, okay, I'll go back tonight to persuade him. After all three of them had left, he began to review the documents and finally finished by noon. After having lunch and taking a break, he continued to refine his family plan and didn't return home until 8 or 9 p.m. in the evening. Returning home and lying in bed, Yi Feng was lamenting that money was always not enough. So I started flipping through the memories of my past life. What other opportunities for great wealth besides Zhulongkang and Hutchison Whampoa have I had recently? Xingye Group, oh my God, how could I forget about this? It's a famous mine in my past life, and I don't know how many investors it harmed in my previous life. However, this may be a pitfall for others, but I can short it. I believe there are many institutions willing to accept it. Xingye Group has encountered a good CEO who, in his previous life, did not hesitate to falsify accounts and falsely report the company's revenue in order to increase its market value. As a result, the company's stock did indeed rise, but still surged, rising from 5.4 yuan to 32 yuan in just 1 week. A week later, he was exposed by others for falsifying accounts and taken away by the Economic Investigation Department of the police station. Then there was a sharp drop in stocks. Directly dropped to 1 yuan. This is a great opportunity, I'm not sure if I can still earn tens of millions. Well, let's go to HSBC stock trading hall tomorrow and take a look. P.S. Newcomers and new books, seeking support, collecting, Flower monthly pass evaluation tickets, first day book release, small ones strive to provide readers with 5 chapters of explosive updates. Chapter 6. Encountering assassins, counter-killing, exploring parents. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Feng woke up early the next day, ready to handle the company's affairs first, and then went to HSBC to check the stocks of Xingye Company. Just about 5 minutes after Yi Feng left, Yi, who was driving, suddenly became alert. Boss, there's a car following us, he said, giving Yi a glance. Yi took out a silver pistol from his own space. Yi Feng became nervous when he heard Yi say that someone was following him. After all, he was also an ordinary person. Just as Yi and Yi were paying attention to the tracking vehicle behind them, a large truck suddenly drove ahead at a very fast speed, without any intention of braking. As they were about to collide, the pedestrians and vehicles next to them were frightened and fled. At this moment, Yi also became nervous and shouted, "Boss, sit still," in a perfect drifting shake. Avoiding the collision between the front of the car and the truck, the rear of the Rolls-Royce was still hit, and the 3 people in the car were dizzy from the impact. Before the 3 of them could react, 2 people got off the car following them, wearing windbreakers and one holding a gun, shooting at Rolls-Royce. Yi also took out his pistol and said to Yi Feng, "Boss, don't get off the car. Wait for me to come back, I'll be fine soon." Yi look at the boss. After speaking, Yi opened the car door and rolled over, hiding behind a van. He shot one of the bandits with a gun in his right hand. The sound of the gun was loud, with a bang, and the bandit's right hand with the gun exploded completely. The other bandit was also startled. Is the power of the pistol so great? Just as he was about to turn around and fight back, his right hand was also blown away with a bang. The danger disappeared, and Yi Feng got off the car and walked over, with Yi guarding beside him. Looking at the two people rolling on the ground, Yi Feng said in a deep voice, "Only one of you can live. As for what I want to ask, you know." The two assassins looked at each other and shouted loudly, "Xiangjiang asked me to kill you," Yi Feng said with such a look. "The truck driver. He's also one of your people?" Yi Feng asked. One of the assassins quickly spoke up and said, "Yes, it was also Xiangjiang who asked him to cooperate with us." After asking, Yi Feng said to Yi, "Kill them." In the frightened eyes of the two, Yi took out a silver pistol, bang, bang, 2 shots, and the heads of the two bandits exploded. At this moment, Yi Feng finally had time for the gun in Yi's hand. Upon closer inspection, was this the Desert Eagle? Yi Feng asked Yi. Yi smiled shyly and said, "Yes, boss, we bring it ourselves." Ding! The system has released a task. Find out the truth about the death of the host's parents. Revenge your parents. Task completed. Reward 5 host guards with 10 attribute points, 1 small military factory. Task failed. System unbinding, unable to even avenge parents. Such a useless person is not worthy of this system. Yi Feng's pupils shrank. Sure enough, there was a problem with his parents' death. If it weren't for Yi and Yi today, he might have been in a car accident as well. Yi, I'll give you a task, Yi Feng instructed Yi. Boss, please give orders, Yi respectfully said to Yi Feng. Go check for me and see if my parents' death is related to the Chen family. Take a good look at the driver who hit my parents and today's driver, Yi Feng said to Yi. Yes, boss, Yi agreed and turned around to leave. Yi Feng swore that even if Xiangjiang was killed, Jesus could not save him. If it were found again that his parents' car accident was related to the Chen family, he would let the Chen family's henchmen stay. As for the 2 truck drivers, whether due to their hard work or other reasons, if they dare to act, they have already been blacklisted by Yi Feng. Kill all. Home. Yi Feng has read too many novels in his past life. It is a taboo to cut down the grass without getting rid of the roots. In the morning, when there were many people on the road, someone had already called the police, and Yi Feng didn't either. Wait for the police to come, otherwise it would be troublesome for them to come to their door. I called Yi Yuan again and explained the situation. Yi Yuan asked anxiously, "Feng, are you not injured?" "I'm fine, the bandit was killed by my bodyguard. I'm afraid there might be trouble in the future." "You come over," Yi Feng reported his location. "I happen to be nearby, I'll be right over," Yi Yuan said. In no time, the police arrived. The first one to arrive was from a nearby police station, a beautiful police officer with 2 subordinates. Yi Feng didn't go over and asked Yi to communicate with the police. Not for a while. The beautiful police officer walked over and said, "Hello, Mr. Yi. My name is Zhang Qianwen. You can call me Mr. Zhang. Now, could you please go to the police station with us to take notes? Sorry, there will be a lawyer to contact you." "I don't have time," Yi Feng frowned. What else did Zhang Qianwen want to say? At this moment, Yi Yuan walked over and said to Zhang Qianwen, "Junior sister, let me handle this. These 2 people are the key observation objects of our anti-black group. Let me handle this." Zhang Qianwen looked at the 2 people lying on the ground with their heads blown up, and then at Yi Yuan. At this moment, Yi Yuan also saw the appearance of the 2 bandits and smiled awkwardly. "One of my informants is tracking them today, and he also told me after the incident." Yi Yuan forcefully explained that the person who came over earlier was quite urgent and didn't even see what the two bandits on the ground looked like. Zhang Qianwen said, "All right, senior brother, then we'll leave it to your anti-black team." Looking at Yi Feng again, he said, "Have you recently formed enemies with anyone else? Or do you have any suspicious partners?" Yi Feng shook his head. He didn't want the police to get involved, he was ready to seek revenge on his own. Zhang Qianwen took out her business card, and next time she encounters something like this, please call me promptly. Yi Feng took the business card, put it in his pocket, and said thank you. Watching Zhang Qianwen walk away, Yi Yuan asked Yi Feng, "Do you know who it is?" Yi Feng nodded and said, "It's Xingye. There's also a truck driver who ran away. Now I suspect that my parents' death is also related to the Chen family. Brother Yuan, can you help me find a way to get rid of the driver who hit my parents? I need to investigate him carefully." Yi Yuan frowned and said, "I personally followed uncle's death. So far, it seems that the driver is not a problem. But if Xingye can send someone to kill you today, it's really uncertain whether the deaths of uncle and aunt are related to them. I will find a way to bring him up on charges of involvement in the underworld and hand him over to you in a few days," Yi Yuan and Yi Feng said. Two subordinates of Yi Yuan carried the bandits away, and Yi Yuan classified the case as gang robbery and murder, but was shot and killed by the police. After handling the matter here, Yi Feng took Yi home and changed to a car, continuing to go to HSBC Bank. In the office of the general manager of Chen Group, Xingye rested his legs on his desk and looked at the boss's chair, swaying leisurely. In my heart, I thought to myself, "Yi Feng, I gave you a chance. If you don't cherish it yourself, then you go to hell. If the old man can eat some of your Yi Group's companies, then I'll take down this last tough bone and show him what he can't do. I can do it." At this moment, the office door was kicked open, and Xingye's father, Chen Jiahao, walked in and closed the door. Xingye was startled and said, "Dad, what's wrong?" Chen Jiahao walked up to Xingye with a dark face and asked, "Are the two brothers from the Sun family?" Xingye dodged his gaze and said, I don't know." Chen Jiahao patted his desk and shouted loudly, "Speak up." Xingye was really scared now and said intermittently, "I'll let them do something. They'll be back soon." "What did you do?" Chen Jiahao continued to ask. "Isn't this the little rabbit Yi Feng who has been unwilling to let go of the land in Yutian Garden? I'll let him replace the Yi Group with another person and see how many of them fill it in," Xingye said fiercely. P.S. Newcomers and new books, seeking support, collecting, seeking monthly flower review tickets, new book releases, small ones strive to bring explosive updates to all readers. Chapter 6. Chapter 7. Short-selling Xingye Group stocks and embracing beauty. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xingye was so arrogant that he wanted to slap the little rabbit to death. "I don't know how to use any means. If we can send someone to take down Yi Feng, we'll have to wait for you to do it." Xingye looked at his father in confusion. "The last time we killed Yi Feng's parents was already a big taboo in the shopping mall, and some small families were not a big deal. Those top-tier families and families that cooperated with us have gradually started to distance ourselves." Chen Jiahao said angrily. "Do you think the Yi family really can't guess how ugly we look when we eat? Even if Yi Feng couldn't guess, his second and third uncles would definitely be able to guess something. It's just that we started too quickly and they didn't react. By the time they reacted, it was already too late for them to retaliate and they didn't have the strength to confront us. But if you continue to take action now, it will only make our Chen family completely unable to eat in the circle, and those real wealthy families will never cooperate with us again." Chen Jiahao explained to Xingye. Upon hearing Chen Jiahao's words, Xingye finally felt his immaturity. He thought his father was too soft and didn't take action against Yi Feng. It turned out that his father couldn't take action anymore. "What should we do now?" Chen Jie asked. From now on, let's not use the land of Yuqian Garden, nor get involved with the Yi Group anymore, and try to clear our suspicion as much as possible, Chen Jiahao instructed. After understanding his father and realizing that he had caused trouble, Chen Jie obediently agreed. After arriving at HSBC, Yi Feng went directly to the stock trading hall and had someone find Li Shiner. Mr. Yi, are you here? Li Shiner smiled when she saw Yi Feng. Xiner, how are the stock acquisitions of Zhulongkang and Hutchison Whampoa going? Yi Feng asked Li Xiner. Upon hearing Yi Feng call himself Xiner, his face turned red and he said to Yi Feng, Mr. Yi, the current stock price of Zhulong Warehouse is 18 Hong Kong dollars and 60 cents per share. We have acquired approximately 1 million shares and spent over 18 million Hong Kong dollars. The stock price of Hutchison Whampoa is currently 15 Hong Kong dollars and 30 cents. We have acquired approximately 150 shares and spent approximately 22.9 million Hong Kong dollars. Li Shiner reported the situation of the war once, and Yi Feng was very satisfied with it. Yi Feng was very satisfied with what he heard, and the subsequent acquisitions will mainly focus on Zhulongkang, spending all the money, Yi Feng instructed Li Shiner. Okay, Mr. Yi, said Li Shiner confidently. Yi Feng asked again about the stock price of Xingye Group today. Mr. Yi, Industrial Group has been skyrocketing since a few days ago. Yesterday, it rose by 8 Hong Kong dollars, and today it has reached 35 Hong Kong dollars, still skyrocketing. It is said that Industrial Group announced its annual revenue yesterday, which is more than 30% higher than last year's year-on-year growth. Li Shiner introduced to Yi Feng. Upon hearing this, Yi Feng said, Oh. Is it almost 35 Hong Kong dollars? Hurry up and help me short. Go to other institutions to borrow stocks, and calculate as much as you can. Hurry up, Yi Feng roared to Li Shiner. Li Shiner was dumbfounded after listening. She thought Yi Feng was going to buy stocks from Industrial Group, but she didn't expect it to be a short selling. Mr. Yi, this stock is on the rise, Li Shiner advised Yi Feng. Listen to me, hurry up, it's too late, Yi Feng urged. Speaking, Li Shiner transferred 20 million yuan to her stock account. Okay, Li Shiner still went to transfer the money. Mr. Yi, please go to the VIP room to rest for a while. Yi Feng smiled and agreed, saying to Li Shiner, I happen to have time today. I promise to treat you to dinner. We'll go when you finish work. Upon hearing that she was going to have dinner with Yi Feng tonight, Li Shiner's face turned red and her heart pounded. Then I'll go get busy first, said Yi Feng. Due to the skyrocketing stock prices of Industrial Group in the past 2 days, it was borrowed from other institutions in less than an hour. Yi Feng looked at the stocks he had obtained and felt happy in his heart. If nothing unexpected happened, Xingye Group would be in a thunderstorm tomorrow. She said to Li Shiner, you go ahead and get busy. I'll wait for you here, and we'll go eat after you finish work. Li Shiner nodded and went out. About an hour later, Li Shiner walked into the VIP room, wearing a light water blue dress with long hair hanging down her shoulders and tied up with a water blue silk. Yi Feng was stunned and almost drooled. Li Shiner looked at Yi Feng's pig-like expression with great joy in her heart, but her face did not show it. Let's go, Li Shiner called out to Yi Feng. Yi Feng just regained his composure. Oh, let's go. The two of them left HSBC building, and Yi drove over. It was a Bentley business car that Rolls-Royce took to repair. After getting on the car, Yi Feng asked, Xiner, what do you want to eat? Whatever you want today. Mr. Yi, you. Before Li Shiner could finish speaking, she was interrupted by Yi Feng and said, Are you still calling Mr. Yi? Call me Brother Yi. Yi Gu, Li Shiner blushed and called out. I can eat anything. Then let's go eat at the Peninsula Hotel. You've been busy with my work these days, so I'll treat you well tonight. The two of them arrived at the Peninsula Hotel and requested a small private room. Upon seeing the decoration, it was truly a top-tier hotel in Xiangjiang. Yi Feng ordered 3 dishes, including slow-cooked butter chicken, grilled broccoli sprouts, seafood platter, and a bottle of red wine. Romani Conti, this bottle of red wine costs 300,000 yuan. You can eat or drink whatever you want. Even if you drink here for a month, you won't earn as much as I do in a day, Yi Feng said with a smile. Looking at Li Xiner's reserved expression upon hearing this, Li Xiner smiled and said to Yi Feng, "Then I'll come and fight against the tycoons today." I didn't eat many dishes, but I finished drinking a bottle of red wine. After drinking, Li Xiner's face turned red and her body was shaky, and she couldn't speak clearly. Yi Feng was preparing to send Li Xiner home, but Li Xiner said for a long time without specifying the specific location. Unable to do anything, Yi Feng could only ask for a room at the Peninsula Hotel, help Li Xiner to the bed, and went in to take a shower on his own. After Yi Feng came out, Li Xiner regained some consciousness. Looking at Yi Feng with a shy face. "You should also take a shower," said Yi Feng. Li Xiner blushed and nodded before entering the bathroom. About half an hour later, Li Xiner came out wearing only a towel, which made her skin look like condensed fat, with a white and red complexion, gentle as jade, and crystal clear. More pure white and flawless than the purest sheepskin jade, even softer and more crystal clear than the mildest soft jade, more delicate and bright than the most delicate rose petals, more beautiful and watery than the clearest crystal. Yi Feng really drooled. After Li Xiner sat on the bed, her face turned red, her head lowered, and she didn't know where to put her hands. Seeing this, Yi Feng couldn't resist anymore. He hugged the beauty and pressed his lips on it. Slowly, the two of them hugged each other, forgetting their feelings. The towel was nowhere to be found. Sleepless all night. High-end hunters always appear in the form of prey, so it's unknown who the hunter is and who the prey is. P.S. Newcomers and new books, seeking support, collection, monthly flower review tickets, new book releases, small ones strive to provide readers with continuous updates. First update. Chapter 8. Short-selling stocks to earn 110 million yuan and forcing confessions. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It wasn't until noon the next day that the two woke up. Yi Feng asked for a lunch from the hotel, and the two had finished their meal. Yi Feng said to Li Xiner, "Don't go to work today. I happen to be going to HSBC Bank, so I'll help you take your leave." Li Xiner blushed slightly and nodded. After taking a shower and tidying up, Yi Feng left the Peninsula Hotel and asked Yi to drive over, then went to HSBC Bank. After Yi Feng left, Li Xiner asked for a pair of scissors from the hotel, cut off the bright plum blossom on the bed sheet, hid it in her bag, and asked the waiter to change the bed sheet. When I arrived at HSBC, I called another service manager and told him about Li Xiner's leave. The service manager looked at Yi Feng with strange eyes for a long time, making him feel embarrassed. Quickly dismiss the manager and go to the stock trading hall. Call a male manager around 30 years old and ask him to operate his stock account. At this moment, someone in the hall shouted out, "The revenue data of Xingye Group is fake and has been exposed. Sell your stocks quickly, otherwise it will be too late." Suddenly, half of the people in the stock trading hall began to howl and quickly went to check their accounts for the industrial stocks, which had dropped to 25 Hong Kong dollars. So, Yi Feng watched as the people in the hall were making a mess and selling stocks, but no one was foolish. There was no one taking the offer. The male manager gave Yi Feng a thumbs up and repeatedly said, "Amazing, Mr. Yi really has foresight." As he spoke, he reached out his right hand and said to Yi Feng, "Mr. Yi, meet me, Shen Jiannan, the president of HSBC Causeway Bay branch." Shen Jiannan, this person Yi Feng was very familiar with in his past life. With his own abilities, he became the executive director of the head office of HSBC Bank. Working and becoming a boss is also a legendary figure, and Yi Feng naturally wants to make friends with such a person. Yi Feng also reached out his right hand and the two shook hands. Yi Feng, chairman of the Yi Group, they said. Xingjiang raised his eyebrows. He was not very familiar with the name Yi Feng, but the Yi Group has been at the top of the Xiangjiang upper-class circle recently. It is said that the Yi Group is about to go bankrupt, but it doesn't seem entirely true now. The two of them got to know each other for a while and started chatting. Unexpectedly, they had a pretty good conversation. As he spoke, Xingjiang's phone suddenly changed. "Mr. Yi, why don't you transfer your company's deposit business to our branch? What do you think?" Yi Feng was also taken aback by Xingjiang's sudden transformation and burst into laughter. "Since Mr. Shen has spoken up, it's inevitable, but if I have any difficulties, Mr. Shen can't just watch helplessly," he said. Xingjiang smiled and said, "Of course, we are friends now, so we naturally have to go to great lengths to treat our friends. Let's take a look at where Xingye's stock has fallen," Yi Feng said, getting up and walking towards the big screen, with Xingjiang following behind. "I didn't expect that in just such a short while, the stock of Industrial Group had already reached 15 Hong Kong dollars, and suddenly dropped by more than 10 Hong Kong dollars. Yi Feng's eyes were twitching as he looked at it. "Brother Yi seems to be getting rich today." Xingjiang laughed heartily. "Borrow Brother Shen's auspicious words," Yi Feng also smiled and said. "This will fall even faster. It seems that more and more people are aware of this. Yi Feng doesn't care. The harder the fall, the happier Yi Feng is." 12.5 Hong Kong dollars, 10.8 Hong Kong dollars, 9.8 Hong Kong dollars. As the stock price slows down, Yi Feng estimates that it can drop to around 5 Hong Kong dollars. Sure enough, in no time, it dropped to 5.6 Hong Kong dollars. Yi Feng said to Xingjiang, "Brother Shen, it's almost over. Could you please help me find someone to close the deal?" "Okay," Xingjiang readily agreed and called over a young man in his 20s. "President Shen," the young man greeted. "Xiao Chu, this client is shorting the stocks of Xingye Group. It's almost time now. Go and return the stocks to those institutions." Upon hearing this, Xiao Chu sighed inwardly. He was indeed a big shot, and everyone was losing money. Only this big shot made a profit. Amazing. Half an hour later, Yi Feng's stock was finally returned to the stock institution at a price of 4.9 yuan, earning more than 5 times, nearly 6 times, and finally turning from 20 million Hong Kong dollars to 110 million Hong Kong dollars. Xingjiang watched with his own eyes as Yi Feng turned 20 million Hong Kong dollars into 110 million, and besides admiration, there was only admiration. "Brother Shen, I'll go back first. Tomorrow, I'll have someone come to your branch to coordinate." Yi Feng shook hands with Xingjiang as he spoke. "Okay, Brother Yi, take your time." Xingjiang escorted Yi Feng out of the bank. Yi Feng arrived at the Peninsula Hotel and went to rest after having dinner with Li Shiner. Yi Er found Chen Jie's villa and quietly sneaked in through the window, only to find 2 bodyguards guarding the door. Yi Er quietly came to the back of a vase, took out the Desert Eagle, and aimed at 2 bodyguards. With a bang, 2 shots. Due to the speed of the shots being too fast, neither bodyguard reacted and was shot dead. 2 large holes appeared in his chest and he fell down. The other bodyguards heard the sound and quickly ran over to support. A gunfight broke out in the villa, but only 3 minutes later, the bodyguards were solved by Yi Er. After all, Yi Er is at the top level of a special forces soldier, and a few bodyguards probably haven't seen blood before. Entering the master bedroom, Chen Jie was awakened by the sound of gunshots, and there was also a woman trembling beside him. Yi Er directly asked, "Did you send the 2 assassins today?" As soon as Chen Jie heard this, he knew something and quickly denied it. "This big brother, what kind of killer?" "I don't know," he said. Yi Er didn't talk nonsense and directly shot the woman in the bed, without even making a scream. The bed remained motionless, with only a pool of blood seeping through. Chen Jie was scared to pee directly, and a foul smell came out. Yi Er slapped the unpleasant smell in disgust and spoke again, "Give you one last chance." Chen Jie, a wealthy second generation, has never seen such a scene before. He immediately said everything, "It was sent by my father, it has nothing to do with me, it has nothing to do with me. Don't kill me, I'll give you money." At this point, Chen Jie decisively blamed his father for the blame. Yi Er saw through his trick with just one glance, but he didn't expose it either. He then asked, "Who killed Yi Feng's parents?" "It's still my dad, it's all my dad's fault. If you want to find him, just find him. My dad's dead, I'll give you all of the Chen family group, as long as you don't kill me. Is there anyone else involved?" Yi Er asked carefully. No, it's all my dad's fault. I even tried to persuade him, but I couldn't resist. Please forgive me once." This time, Yi Er didn't know if he had lied or if anyone else was involved, so he shot Chen Jie in the left leg. Chen Jie's face immediately turned pale and he hugged his thigh, howling. "Tell me the whole story. If it's different from what I know, then don't take your right leg either. If you're telling the truth, I'll let you go," Yi Er said to Chen Jie. "My father and Chairman Yi Buole, Yi Feng's father, were competing for the land in the Imperial Garden. My father lost and killed Chairman Yi in an attempt to annex the entire Yi Group. Now there is only the land left for the real estate company, and Yi Feng is not selling it. Today, he assigned someone to kill Yi Feng. Really, it's all my dad's fault, it's nothing to do with me. Give me a break, I'll give you all of the Chen Group. P.S. Newcomers and new books, seeking support, collection, monthly flower review tickets, new book releases, small ones strive to provide readers with continuous updates. Second update. Chapter 9. Revenge for Parents and Destroy the Chen Family, Chapter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Er ignored Chen Jie's plea for mercy and turned to ask, "Where did the driver today come from?" "Big brother, the driver's son has leukemia and needs a large sum of money for treatment. My father gave him 500,000 yuan and he did it. The driver who killed Chairman Yi was also his wife who had a terminal illness. My father gave him 500,000 yuan and then went to kill Chairman Yi. They were all treated at Xiangjiang Mary Hospital, and you can easily find them. Big brother, I've said it all. Please spare me, I'll spend all the company money." Bang! Chen Jie's heart was shattered with fear in his eyes. Yi Er took out gasoline from his own space and filled the entire villa, igniting a fire. The fire was raging and the police arrived shortly after, as someone had already called the police when the gunshots sounded ahead. As a result, a big fire broke out again, and the police had to call the fire brigade. Because the fire was too intense, it was not extinguished until early morning. The next day, after Yi Feng and Li Shiner came out of the Peninsula Hotel, Yi Er was already waiting in the car. "Boss, I've made it clear. It was Chen Jiahao who did it. Both truck drivers were patients at Xiangjiang Mary Hospital, and their families had no money to treat their illnesses. They took Chen Jiahao and Chen Jie's money to commit murder." Yi Feng's expression completely cooled down, and he instructed Yi Er, "I want Chen Jiahao's chickens and dogs to stay. I remember Chen Jie has a younger brother and sister, all of whom should be killed in front of Chen Jiahao. And those two truck drivers, aren't they killing others just to treat their families' illnesses? Then kill their parents, wives, and children in front of them, and let them witness the pain of their loved ones dying in front of them. Then kill them for me, remember?" "Yes, boss, I remember. I won't let them die easily." "Alright, go ahead and do it," Yi Feng waved his hand. Yi Feng first sent Li Shiner to HSBC building, and then went to the company himself. Today, when he came to the company, he met Chu Xian, also known as his uncle and Yi Suqing's husband. "Uncle, are you here?" Yi Feng greeted Chu Xian. "Xiao Feng," as he spoke, Chu Xian lowered his head. Yi Feng didn't say much and called Chu Xian to the office. In the office, Yi Meng was already organizing the documents. Yi Feng sent Yi Meng away. After all, Chu Xian was her father. In front of her daughter, Chu Xian still wanted face. "Uncle, let's not talk about the past anymore. Someone deliberately harmed the company, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. It's none of your business. But now I'm short of people, so why don't you come and help me?" Xiao Feng, what else does Chu Xian want to say? Just interrupted by Yi Feng, "Uncle, why don't you say you're not coming? Or do you want to see me? I'm exhausted, right?" Chu Tian joked. Chu Xian showed a firm expression this time and said, "Okay, Xiaofeng, since you believe in me and are willing to give me another chance, I will definitely do well this time. If anything happens again this time, you are the only one asking." "Uncle, I remember you seem to be studying finance, right?" Yi Feng asked. "Yes, Xiaofeng, I majored in finance in college," Chu Xian replied. "Uncle, if you set up a financial and securities company, I will provide you with a list of stocks. You can just buy according to it. Once our reputation is established, you can create a high-yield fund specifically for government officials to buy. You took 10 million yuan from your aunt. The company has opened, let me know, and I will choose stocks for you," said Yi Feng. "Okay, Xiaofeng, I understand. I'll go handle it this afternoon," Chu Xian agreed. After speaking, Chu Xian went out to handle matters. Yi Feng still needs to prepare his family plan. The family meeting will be held the day after tomorrow. There are also newspapers. Uncle San has already bought a newspaper and he is planning to first establish the reputation of the newspaper in terms of stocks. He looked in his mind at some stocks that would rise and fall from next Monday to Friday, and then used his financial knowledge to analyze from a professional perspective why this stock would rise. Why did that stock drop? He wants to use this newspaper to create the myth of stocks. In Xiangjiang and even around the world, what this newspaper says is authoritative in the financial industry. Until the afternoon, he finally finished writing down all the stock information to be published in the newspaper next week. "Call Yi Meng in and ask him to call Uncle San over." "Feng, what's up?" Yi Jiaheng asked. Yi Feng handed over some content to Yi Jiaheng and said, "Uncle San, you should publish your newspaper next week according to what I wrote. In the future, our newspaper will be called Ye's newspaper, and this newspaper will be called Financial News," said Yi Feng. Yi Jiaheng looked at the content on the paper in front of him and was shocked, but he didn't ask much. After all, Yi Feng's record was there. Yi Jiaheng took the future of the newspaper given by Yi Feng and went out. At night, in the Chen family villa, Chen Jiahao looked at his son's ashes. Next to him stood a noblewoman, Chen Jiahao's wife, and behind him stood a young man and a young girl, Chen Jie's younger brother and sister. Chen Jiahao's eyes were red. "It must be Yi Feng, it must be Yi Feng." Today, Chen Jie just sent an assassin to kill Yi Feng, but Yi Feng was fine and Chen Jie died. Chen Lu looked at him with hatred, and he insisted that Yi Feng repay the debt with blood. The noblewoman cried uncontrollably, Master, Master, you must avenge Ajai." Okay, I know who the killer is. I'll contact the club tomorrow, I just finished speaking." A middle-aged man's voice came over, "I'm afraid you won't have a chance." A few people turned their heads and saw Yi Er, dressed in black, walking out of the shadows with the Desert Eagle in hand. A few people panicked when they saw the gun, and Chen Jiahao shouted loudly, "Bodyguard, where did the bodyguard go? Where did everyone go? Stop shouting, I'm worried they might disturb our next game, so let's take them on the road first." Yi Er walked over as he spoke. Since the boss didn't want them to die easily, he couldn't use a gun. Chen Jie's sister is about to cry in fear. Watching Yi Feng walk over, Chen Jiahao also panicked, mainly because he was afraid of the gun in Yi Er's hand. I saw Yi Er flying and kicking Chen Jiahao on the ground, unable to get up for a long time. Seeing his son and daughter wanting to come and help him, Chen Jiahao stopped him. "I admit it, you can do whatever you do to me. I'll give you another 10 million, and you can let go of my wife and children. Or as much as Yi Feng gives you, I'll give you double, no, 5 times, or 10 times. I believe you know, Yi Feng definitely doesn't have as much money as me. Chen Jiahao is still trying to bribe Yi Er with money. Yi Er sneered and said, "Can your money buy the lives of my boss's parents? My boss has already told me to make sure we have fun together." Watching Chen Jiahao's wife and his son and daughter retreat, Yi Er walked over and struck her head with the gun of the Desert Eagle. Suddenly, Chen Jiahao's wife fell down, covered in blood. Chen Jie's younger brother Chen Tian and sister Chen Jing were frightened and screamed. Yi Er didn't care about that. He walked over and knocked on the head alone. "No, stop it quickly, Chen Jie's eyes are cracking." However, Yi Er didn't listen to his nonsense. He took out the pre-prepared ropes, tied up all 4 of them, and found a few pieces of cloth to cover their mouths. Otherwise, he was afraid that there might be too much noise and someone would call the police. Only Chen Jiahao is sober and constantly begging for mercy, "Let go of my wife and daughter, please, please." P.S. Newcomers and new books, seeking support, collection, monthly flower review tickets, new book releases, small ones strive to provide readers with continuous updates. Third watch. Chapter 10. Completing system tasks, summoning guardians. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Er ignored Chen Jiahao's plea and stuffed his mouth with a cloth. He went to the kitchen to fetch a basin of cold water and woke the 3 of them up. Several people looked at Yi Er with frightened eyes. Yi Er smiled and said, "Don't look at me like that. If you want to blame me, blame your good dad and brother." After speaking, he took out a knife and ignored Chen Jiahao's expression of wanting to crack his eyes. He stabbed several people one by one, and a few minutes later, they were all covered in blood holes, but they didn't die. Yi Er stopped fighting and watched as the few people slowly bled to death. As the blood was running dry, Yi Er said to them, "Go down and reform yourself well. I dare not write too much about these, otherwise I won't be able to publish them. I hope everyone understands." As he spoke, he took out gasoline and splashed it on several people. The lighter ignited and the flames burned fiercely. Yi Er walked out of the villa and gradually fell into the darkness. But this is not the end, this is the beginning. Yi Er came to Mary Hospital again and first found the man who killed Yi Feng's parents. "I was just released from the police station today and I don't know what happened, so I came to the hospital to see my child first." At this moment, Yi Er walked in. Because there were too many people in the hospital, he couldn't do it like the Chen family villa, so he covered the man's mouth when he entered. He whispered in the man's ear, "It's not easy to get 500,000. After speaking, he took out his gun and shot the child's head in the hospital bed in the man's frightened eyes. Looking at the man's wife who was awakened by the sound of gunfire, she was also shot in the head. The man struggled desperately, but couldn't break free from Yi Er's big hand. When he heard gunshots, the hospital went into chaos and someone had already called the police. So Yi Er also made a quick decision and shot the truck man with one shot. Quickly, the man who bumped into Yi Feng was found again and entered the hospital room. Crafted the same way, it was resolved in less than 3 minutes. Afterwards, Yi Er climbed out of the window and disappeared into the darkness. Everyone, it's too bloody and violent to write about. I estimate this is the limit. So let this plot end quickly. Yi Feng was sleeping at home when suddenly the sound of the system rang out. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the task. Reward the host with 5 guards, 10 attribute points, and 1 small military factory. The system gave me 4 points for attribute points on strength, and 3 points for spirit and speed each. Yi Feng said. Ding, 3D attributes added successfully. Open the system panel. Host. Yi Feng, 3-dimensional attributes. Strength. 14, spirit. 15. Speed. 13. Normal adult males are 10. Family. Yi family, family title. Small family, family halo. Loyalty to the family, influence. 3,000 points/10,000 points, clan members. 20 people can check loyalty to the family, over 90 can sacrifice their lives for the family, never betray the clan. Asset. $45.76 million. Company market value plus funds, attribute point. 0 points, note. The host can be used by anyone, family guard. 7 people, soldier king level, optional male and female, 15 points each in 3D attributes, comes with 10 cubic meters of space, can be upgraded. 5 people to be extracted, system space. 1,000 cubic meters, to be upgraded. System upgrade requires family assets to reach $100 million, 10,000 influence points, and new functions to be launched after system upgrade. The next day, major media outlets in Xiangjiang were competing to report first. Dongfang Daily. Last night, Chen Jiahao, one of the wealthiest people in Xiangjiang, had his entire family killed and his villa burned down in flames. Who did it? Phoenix Media. Last night, Mary Hospital was shot and 6 people died. The 2 were still seriously ill children. Is this a distortion of human nature? Or is it moral decay? South China Morning Post. The perpetrator who killed the entire family of wealthy businessman Chen Jiahao last night may be the same person as the perpetrator at Mary Hospital. The bullet found in the body of Chen Jia, the son of wealthy businessman Chen Jiahao, is of the same model or characteristic as the bullet used in the hospital shooting case. What is the animosity between the two sides? Yi Feng got up early and doesn't have to go to the company this Saturday. The system summons 5 male guards. In no time, 5 middle-aged men walked into the Yi family villa. "Hello boss," several people bowed to Yi Feng. Yi Feng nodded and said to the 5 people, "In the future, you will be called Yi San, Yi Si, Yi Wu, Yi Lu, and Yi Qi." "It's the boss," the others replied. "Yi Lu and Yi Qi, next Monday you two will create a security company to recruit some retired soldiers from mainland China. Can you train them for me?" Yi Feng asked. "Yes," both of them shouted with great momentum. He said to Yi San, Yi Si, and Yi Wu again, "You 3 should find a hidden place, and I will release the military industry. From now on, Yi San will be responsible for producing weapons, while Yi Er and Yi Wu will be responsible for sales, preparing to sell weapons to the whole world." "Go ahead," Yi Feng said, and the few of them went out. This news from the South China Morning Post has provided the police with a way of thinking. As a flower of the police force, Sheriff Zhang Qianwen has received this task. She is going to investigate what connections these people have. Investigation came and went, and the result really helped her find something, among the 6 people who died in the hospital. Both men are drivers, and some of their families are seriously ill. Despite facing family difficulties, both of them have paid enough money. So the question is, where did the money come from? Rich man Chen Jiahao, isn't this related? So the question is again, what did Chen Jiahao give them money for? Upon investigation, it was found that one of the men was the one who killed the former chairman and his wife of Yi Group. Thinking of Yi Group, Zhang Qianwen couldn't help but think of Yi Feng's tall and majestic figure. Pooh, what am I thinking? Investigation is important, investigation is important. Is it Chen Jiahao who gave the truck man money to run into Yi Feng's parents and kill them? Not to mention that Zhang Qianwen guessed right at once, but she still needs to verify. What is the relationship between the other man and them? Suddenly, Zhang Qianwen remembered the shooting case that day. Didn't a truck run away at the scene? You still crashed a Rolls-Royce like that, it's not something that a regular car would crash into. Oh, isn't that right? But these are all her guesses, she still needs to verify them. Verify who gained the most profit after the death of the chairman of Xingye Group. Verify if the truck man only paid the treatment fee before and after the death of the chairman of Xingye Group. Please confirm if the other truck man also paid the hospitalization fee 1 or 2 days before and after Feng was shot. Also, she suspected that there were signs of impact on the truck driver who hit Feng. Looking at the bullets in the bodies of truck drivers and others, are they the same as those in the bodies of the bandits who were planning to kill Feng that day? If these things are confirmed, the case will be basically solved, but she doesn't have any evidence. As a result, he called the anti-black team at Kowloon police station to inquire about the bodies of the 2 bandits, but was informed that they had been burned and the bullets had not been found. Angry Zhang Qianwen stomped her feet. Wait, Feng, yuan, can't they? He seems to have solved the case, and thinking of this Qianwen makes him feel really smart. But she didn't have any evidence, so he grabbed his hair in anger. She is going to come and find Feng, see if there are any clues. P.S. Newcomers and new books, seeking support, collection, monthly flower review tickets, new book releases, small ones strive to provide readers with continuous updates. 4th update.